Everything. Hello, welcome to screencast of 8.6. So a rational equation is literally a ratio. It's a fraction of two rational expressions. No.
They're not learning this?
No. They're gone.
Yeah, but like remember they had like that senior test?
They did. It was over 8.1. Cool. Alright, so 8 points.
So can none of them play sport and forward?
We could talk about this later. I'm screencasting. Perfect. Wait till screencast start, then talk. Alright, so how do you actually solve a rational equation? So a rational equation is like has an equal sign, it's a bunch of ratios, a bunch of fractions. Rational equations are ratios, they're fractions. So how do you solve them? Factor any terms that are factorable. So factor any terms in the denominator. And denominator that are factorable. Then you determine the least common denominator. Multiply each term with the least common denominator. Eliminate common factors, simplify, and solve. So we're going to go over that multiple times. Okay. First, factor any terms that are factorable. Are there any terms in the denominator that are factorable? Nope, nothing. So our three terms in the denominator are 24, 3 minus x, and 4. What is the least common denominator? How would I even find that?
12.
Well, I have a 3 minus x, so it's going to be something times 3 minus x. What's the least common denominator between 24 and 4? 24. 24 can go into 24, 4 can go into 24. And if I have 24, 3 minus x can go into that, 4 can go into that, and 24 can go into it. You're just like chilling eating a bagel. Okay. Okay. Okay, and when it says state the restrictions, what does that say? What does that mean? What is state the restrictions? Like what do I mean when I say state the restrictions? What the heck is what's restriction, Jack?
So that can't be equal to.
Exactly. This is the x values where the denominator equals 0. And what happens if we're dividing by 0? Like bad stuff, black hole, right? It's not good. We don't want that to happen. All right. So, what value of x is our restriction? What is our restriction?
3.
Yeah, x cannot equal 3. What happens if x equals 3? The denominator goes to 0, and that's not good. Okay, so we're going to go through, we're going to solve for what x should equal to. If at the end we see x equals 3, that's false, because x cannot equal 3, it's a restriction. X equaling 3 will make the bottom of my fraction go to 0. Okay, so let's go back up here. Step 1, factor any terms that are factorable. Okay, well that didn't apply to us, so we're done. Determine least common denominator, done. Multiply each term with the least common denominator. So I'm going to multiply every single term by that 24, 3 minus x. So I have 24 times 3 minus x times 5 over 24 plus 24 times 3 minus x times 2 over 3 minus x equals 24 times 3 minus x times 1/4. Okay, so I multiplied every single term by the least common denominator. What's the next step down? What does it say? One more time? Eliminate common factors. All right, so check it out. This 24 and the 24 on bottom cancel each other out. This 3 minus x and the 3 minus x on bottom cancel each other out. What am I going to do with this right side? I have a 4 on bottom. Make it a 1. Make the 24 be a 6. Okay, so now I'm going to rewrite this because it looks pretty messy. It looks pretty sloppy. So I have 5 times 3 minus x plus 24 times 2 equals 6 times 3 minus x. Okay. The next thing we're going to do, Tati, what do you think? What should we do? Yeah, let's do the next thing. Distribute. Perfect. 15 minus 5x plus 48 equals 18 minus 6x. Let's move everything on the left side. Why am I going to do that? Well, do I need to move on? Actually, let's simplify the left side first. Yeah, I'm trying to isolate x. Let me actually solve the left side. Like, let me get the common factors together. 15 plus 48 is going to be 63. Equals 18 minus 6x, so minus 18 from both sides. Minus 18, 45. So minus 18 from both sides. Add 5x on both sides. 45 equals negative x. So this means negative 45 is equal to x. Awesome. Am I okay, or is this one of my restrictions?
You're good.
I'm good. That's it. That's the whole problem. How are you feeling so far? Do you want me to move it up? I can. So that's it. That's the whole problem. So I started this lesson with the other class, and when I saw how much it bombed, that's when I went and did 8.2 with you guys. So, cool. I think we'll be okay. Do we need more time to write down? 5 more seconds. Not today. I was working on the senior finals.
Do you use the same screencast for both classes?
Yep. Let's record once. Sometimes it's you guys, sometimes it's them. Okay, it's 5 seconds. We're
When
good?
you multiply the denominator, I mean the least common whatever, is it 24 times 3 minus x?
Yep.
And then 1 under it?
Yeah.
Or is it like a...
No, since I'm multiplying on both sides of the equal side, it's okay. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So I'm not multiplying by 1, so I'm multiplying every term on both sides by that. That's why it's okay to do. Alright, let's go on to B. So, sure, because here my denominators are 1. So I want to know my restrictions and my least common denominator.
Okay. Least common denominator is or is it 6?
It's 18. Because 18 cannot go into 6.
Restrictions. I don't see any.
Exactly, we don't have an x on the bottom, so there are none.
None. Okay, so since 6 goes into 18, you just multiply over 6 times 3.
Not quite. We're going to multiply every single term by the least common denominator.
By 18?
Yeah.
Even 18?
Yep.
Why?
Multiplying every single one, it gets rid of all the fractions. So here, that turns into a 3. That goes away. And I'm left with 18x plus 54 plus 15 equals 23. If you think about it, we factor any terms that are factorable. Well, there's none. Like, I don't have any like crazy polynomials on the bottom, so I'm done with step 1. Determine the least common denominator. That's 18. Multiply each term by the least common denominator. Multiply everything by 18. Eliminate common factors. Simplify. Okay, so I can simplify this a little more. So I have 18x plus 69 equals 23 minus 69 from both sides. So that's 46. Negative 46. Yeah. And then divide by 18. I see x is equal to negative 46 over 18. I can simplify that and say negative 23 over 9. And I don't have any restrictions on my domain, so like that's it. I'm done. That's what x has to equal in order for this equation to be true. So it's a little different because it's a different concept than just multiplying by 1. Remember when we multiplied by like x over x to get the same denominator? Here, I'm trying to solve for x in an equation. I'm not just trying to simplify, but yeah. Cool. All right, we can keep going. Perfect. Do part C. Nope, there's no part C. Trick play. Extraneous solutions. A solution that does not make the equation true is called extraneous because it's extra. It's not an actual one. So in rational equations, watch out if you get the same answer as your restrictions. If the denominator equals 0, it's no bueno. Because that'll be extra. It's just trying to trick you. Alright. So here's like the real deal. We've got to use our full 5 steps. What's the first step we do in solving? First thing we want to do? Factor anything in the denominator fully. Right. So can I factor this guy? So that's the same thing as x plus 3, x plus 5. Right? So I want to find my least common denominator. So what is my least common denominator? X plus 3 times x plus 5, because all 3 of my denominators can go into that. Also, what are the restrictions on my domain? So what this means is, what x values can I not have? What x values will make my denominator go to 0? Maya, what did you say? I can't hear you. -3 and -5? Because what would happen if I plugged in -3 for x? The bottom over here would go to 0. If I plugged in -5, the bottom over here would go to 0, so that's not good. Okay, so step 1, find, oh my god, hold on, factor fully. Step 2, determine the least common denominator. Step 3, multiply each term with the least common denominator. Because we don't need to. Step 1 is factor any terms in the denominator that are factorable. We don't need to do the numerator. I can just leave the denominator. I just want to factor in terms in the denominator. Alright. So I'm going to multiply every single term by x plus 3, x plus 5. Okay. This is beautiful. X plus 3, x plus 5. Times 2x over x plus 5. Minus x plus 3 times x plus 5 times x squared minus x minus 10 all over x plus 3 x plus 5 equals, oops, x plus 3 times x plus 5 times 3 over x plus 3. Okay, that was step 3, multiply each term with the least common denominator. Step 4, eliminate common factors. The x plus 5 goes away, both terms here go away, x plus 3 goes away, and I can rewrite so that way it's a little simpler. So, I have 2x times x plus 3 minus, well, both of those factors canceled out, so I'm just taking what was up here, x squared minus x minus 10, and it's important to keep the parentheses because I'm going to have to distribute that negative out, and that's a problem a lot of people don't do. Equals 3 times x plus 5. So this looks a little better than the previous line. No, do you have an idea? What should we do now? Distribute. Exactly. And do not forget to distribute that negative out. So 2x squared plus 6x minus x squared plus x plus 10 equals 3x plus 15. Going to combine like terms, make it a little simpler to look at. Let's pause here for a second.
Wait, what? Shouldn't there be a
So then, now that I have everything on both sides, like combined like terms, I'm gonna move everything to the left side. Why am I doing that though? What am I doing here? Why?
So you could get 0.
That way I get 0. Exactly. We're on it today. Let's see, plus 4x minus 5. And then what are the two factors here? What adds to 4 multiplies negative 5?
5 negative.
Mm-hmm. And if I set each of these equal to 0, right, x plus 5 equals 0, minus 5 on both sides, we get x equals negative 5. I have x minus 1 equals 0, add 1 to both sides, x equals 1, add 1 on both sides. What are my restrictions again? What? X cannot equal negative 5, so my only solution is x equals 1.
No, we don't want to.
But also, can't x not equal negative 1?
Why? It doesn't it equals 1 here. X minus 5.
I thought we don't want it to equal 0, and now we're trying to find it to be 0.
We don't want the bottom of our fraction to equal 0. So up here, I looked at what values of x would make my denominator equal to 0. If x equaled negative 3, if x equaled negative 5, at the end, one of the solutions I found, one of the answers, one of the zeros I found was x equals negative 5. But that's extraneous. That's why. I crossed it out. The whole, I think the negative 1 was a different problem. Awesome. Let's see. Okay, I think we have 2 more problems. We're super close. Let's do E next, and then we'll go back to D. Alright. You guys doing okay? Need a little stretch break?
Yeah.
Pause here. Alright, let's do part E.
Can I do this one?
Heck yeah, lead me through it.
Alright. So you factor 3 squared minus 1. So you get z plus 1, z minus 1. And then we multiply z plus 1 by z minus 1. And then, yeah, that's the
So this common denominator, what's the restriction on my domain? What can z not equal?
z can't equal negative 1, z can't equal 1.
Good.
And then to multiply that by, okay, so multiply it by 2, which is equals 1, and minus 1, and negative 2, and z minus 1.
Oops, this should be a minus. Did you guys write this already?
And then you cancel out, you just cancel everything out that you think.
Alright, so z plus 1 cancels out here. The minus and both. Cool.
You're left with 2 times z minus 1 minus z plus 1 minus 3. And then you distribute. And then,
Is equals 1? So I'm good?
It's a restriction.
What's the restriction?
Also, it's more solution.
Exactly. No solution, because we saw one of our restrictions was z cannot equal 1. And since that was the answer we found at the end, that means, oh, that's false. That's an extraneous solution. It's extra. Cool.
Hold the phone.
Uno más. Uno más. Uno más. Uno más. Uno más.
Oh my god, I hate word problems.
Hold the phone.
We're not gonna.
How? Oh. The phone no longer needs to be held.
What are you guys gonna do in the summer without your daily dose of math? Of math class.
When I was going to from 7th grade to 8th grade, my parents made me over the summer work on a math worksheet. It was like 300 pages long, and if I didn't finish it, I was summer I wouldn't take it over. I didn't finish it. I had my PlayStation 6 times.
Wow.
So, let's just say, if you have the chance, just schmoop it. Schmoop the answers.
Thought it was rhetorical, but that's cool. We're not gonna do this one. We are gonna finish D. We're gonna do D.
Rhetorics or egos, ethos, logos.
Speaking Latin to me.
I
I did not hear what you said.
Rhetorics are egos,
I know that.
ethos, and logos.
What?
Pathos?
Ethos.
Pathos?
It's rhetoric analysis.
Oh.
One's about the emotion, one's about the logic, and one is about the
I do.
like the not trust.
That means-
like who's this-
How interesting. Alright, let's put away our phones. Let's keep focusing. Come on.
Hello?
What?
Are you learning?
Let's keep going. We have one more problem left. Come on, guys. Let's focus.
Wait, what?
I do
have
this
a
one?
completely different thing.
This is part D.
I'm on the same page.
Can I do this one?
I don't have it.
You do.
Can I do this one?
100% you do have it. Alright, you're done. First step we want to do.
Find our restrictions.
Okay, yeah, we could do that. Or not, whatever. Fully factor the denominators.
That's what I meant. I'm speaking Latin.
Okay.
Now you gotta find restrictions, bro.
Yep. Restrictions and least common denominator. Alright, you're done.
Don't say I was writing it down. Okay, our restrictions are 1 and -1. Again.
Okay. Least common denominator.
N minus 1, N plus 1.
But what else?
4. No, 12.
2 can go into 4, 4 can go into
12.
4, but 3, yep.
12.
12.
12.
Good. Next up.
Common denominator is 12. N minus 1. And don't forget the N plus 1.
Yep. Now what?
Then multiply
By every single term.
each and every one of them. These get some multiplication
Yeah.
laws.
Yep.
And it takes so damn long to write every single.
It does. But can you guys believe that I had planned to finish chapter 8 before spring break?
You know what I don't understand?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Someone texts me, I answer back, and they leave me on red. What? That doesn't work.
I do that all the time to people.
I wouldn't
No,
like.
the
I
worst
wouldn't
is
like.
like, hey, and then you're like, hey, and they're like, how are you? Like, I'm good, how are you? And they're like, good.
No, this girl texted me, what
Why
are
do
you
you
doing?
text?
I'm like, nothing. Why? Leaves me on red. What do you
I'll
want
do
me to
that. I'll
respond
text
with?
someone right before I like start driving somewhere.
What?
Yeah, I'll text someone right before I start driving somewhere. And then they respond right away and I don't respond for like 30 minutes to 3 months. Sometimes I don't respond for like a month.
What's wrong with you? I would not want to be friends with you.
I ask myself that every day. I'm like, what's wrong with me?
No, people who do that specific thing drive me crazy.
Sweet. It's good to know we're enemies.
What? No.
No, I don't know why I'm so bad.
You and Miles already have that James Bond and villain connection.
My personality trait literally is a, like,
Oh.
it's either, it's like Michelle Obama, but it also is,
Bold comparison.
it also is like a evil mad scientist. So
Wait, Steve Carell's one.
cross out
Well, I tried these
Honestly, just
Cross out all the common factors. 2, 6,
I've tried
3,
so hard for me to watch.
4.
Because it's like, it feels like I'm watching a vlog.
You
and I
have
don't know how I feel.
You have to get to the first season.
Yeah, I know. It's so boring.
First season of what?
I try to watch the first three.
I watched
Of
the
what?
first season.
The
I was
Office.
able to- I was able to-
Oh, The Office is so good.
Game of Thrones. I suggest you invest your time in Game of Thrones.
I would never in my life ever watch 15 seasons of something.
It doesn't have 15 seasons.
Someone told me yes when I was
It does not.
They lied to you, and you should be upset.
Honestly, Game of
No,
Thrones
I
is one of the
can't. I
best TV
physically
shows out
can't
there.
binge something like that.
I like
Okay.
I watched like Friends and like How I Met Your Mother. I never watched that. You have to watch that.
I watched episodes, but I never watched.
Okay, so let's talk about what I've just did. We distributed.
What did you
We
just
multiplied
do?
every term by least common denominator. Then we canceled out anything that was common. We simplified. Then I rewrote it, and I made sure to the like single things I multiplied together first before I will distribute them to the binomials. I made the multiplication as easy as possible for myself.
We say Shaw City.
No,
Shaw City.
no, no. Minus 18n squared from both sides. 10n squared minus 43n minus 15 equals negative 18n. Add 18n on both sides. 25. Okay, so let's think. Think to yourself, how could I simplify this? Who said this? Factor? What can I pull out? What's a common factor? 5. Okay. So. Do we know how to factor quadratics with a coefficient other than 1? Yes, we do! Alright, let's do this. So, what adds to my b, which is negative 5, and multiplies to a times c, which is negative 6. Where is this a, c, and b coming from? What the hell am I doing? A times c? It's from chapter 4! ax squared plus bx plus c. So I'm taking the coefficient 2 and negative 3 and multiplying together. What adds to negative 5 multiplies negative 6? Negative 6 and 1. So what I'm going to do is say 5 times 2n minus 6 times 2n plus 1. But hold on, there's this like common factor here, so I'm going to divide both of them by 2. So I get 5 times n minus 3 times 2n plus 1. Is that a little tricky trick? It's the way Miss Kasich does it. It's how you factor.
You guys like teach each other math like tricks.
I just try to be consistent with the way the other math teachers teach you guys. Yeah. That way I'm not like saying things really weird and then later you're like, what? But Miss O'Brien said this. Nah, I'm not playing that game. Not pitting each other. Not being pitted against each other. Alright. We're almost done. Last step. How do I solve for n?
Honestly, this problem is so long to the point where we should just give up.
Nope.
There's no point in solving.
Set 2n plus 1 equal to 0. Minus 1 on both sides. 2n equals negative 1. Divide by 2, n equals negative a half. Or, you see the n minus 3 set equals 0, you see n is equal to 3. Wait, what are the restrictions on our domain? Once again, just double check that we don't have any extraneous 1 and negative 1, so we're actually fine. Yep. That's it. That's the whole lesson. We're done, so we're skipping the last problem.